G'day mates, ordinary average guy here, and being 4th of July weekend, I thought I would take a look at my American-made knives that I have in my collection. So let's get started. So first on the list, I'm going to take a look at my Benchmades. First off here, we've got the full-size Griptillian with the sheep's foot blade and the deep carry pocket clip. This is S30V blade, polymer handle, big chunk of a knife. Now, when I got this thing originally, it had a like half serrated Tonto tip blade on it. I just really had no use for that knife, especially a knife of this size. You know, I don't really need a knife for tactical reasons. So I sent it into them for $30. They put this new S30V sheep's foot blade on it and put this deep carry pocket clip on it for me. So really impressed by Benchmade's customer service. A lot of people have issues with their customer service. I've had nothing but great experiences with them, and I'll get into that more here in a little bit. I'll show you some more examples of that, but I really dig this knife. I took it on a camping trip with me recently, hard used it for 4 days, and it's still razor sharp. A lot of people talk about Benchmade's heat treatment, that it's not up to snuff. Literally, man, I used the shit out of this thing. I was cutting meat with it. I was using and abusing it, you know, camping, whittling, cutting sticks for s'mores, and had no issues with it, and it's still razor bloody sharp. So, you know, there you go. If you've had some bad experiences with Benchmade, please let me know. I'd love to hear in your comments. Please don't tell me anything about, you know, guns or anything. Let's leave that to another day. If you've had any bad experiences with Benchmade, the quality of their knives, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. So, the one thing a lot of people talk about is the centering on the blade. You can see this one's a little bit off. I don't know if that has to do, because it's very good in this dimension when it's open. I've run a straight edge down and it is very, very straight. I think it's more to do with the milling on their polymer. And I get it. Look, these aren't cheap knives. You know, I think this thing runs about $100, $105. So, you know, there's no excuse for that, but the knife really is a great knife, and it's very lefty friendly. In fact, it's completely ambidextrous, meaning it's exactly the same for a left-handed as it is for a right-handed person because of this axis lock right here. This axis lock is designed, I can't remember who designed it, but it was designed by Benchmade, and they use it in pretty much all of their knives, you know, with a few exceptions, but I love the axis lock. I love the mobility of the knife while using the axis lock, and I think it's a great American product. So right here we've got the Benchmade mini grip. I have two of these guys. So this is the S30V sheep's foot. They're basically just the smaller version of this, and you've got the drop point D2 blade here. So both of these, you can see I've got the little mini grip. Sorry, the bug out clip-on, deep carry clip. Now I got these clips. I got 3 pocket clips from them, deep carry, all for under $20 shipped. So, you know, once again, I've had good experiences with Benchmade's customer service. So these are cool little knives. I carry these quite a bit because I use and abuse them. I beat the crap out of them. And I don't feel guilty about it. Both of these run under $100. I got this one. This is a D2. I got this one on sale for like $70, $80. Cool little knife. They feel very solid. They feel very solid for being a polymer handle. And once again, they use the axis lock, which is lefty friendly for all us lefties out there who, you know, looking for truly ambidextrous knives. Next up, I've got the 940-2. This also comes in a ton of different flavors. You can get you know, S90V, you can get, you know, aluminum handles, carbon fiber. This is just the standard G10 handle S30V blade with a deep carry clip on it. So, love this knife, great action on it, and, you know, can't say enough good things about the 940. It's a very popular knife for a very good reason. You know, one thing though, its blade stock's a little thick, and that's the one complaint I would have about it, and it's sort of a thinner blade, but I love the blade profile of this thing. You know, I don't think you could have done it any other way and made the knife as sturdy as it is. So, you know, it is a Osborne design. I can't remember the guy's first name, but I think he was a paratrooper, or you know, he was in the Green Berets or something like that. But he designed this knife. Really cool knife. Very popular for a good reason. This guy right here. This is one of my favorite little knives, man. I saw this thing like this knife is not, it's not new. I mean, I think it's been around for 10 years or something, but man, when I first saw it, I fell in love with it. I love little lightweight carries. This thing's great. It weighs, I don't know what it weighs, under like an ounce and a half, I think, but 1.3 ounces. Very lightweight. Disappears in the pocket. You could put this in your coin pocket. Just make sure you flip the safety on so you don't cut anything off down there. And I love the action. Springs open. Really basic knife too. I had to take it apart because I dropped it in a bowl of soup because I'm, not very bright. And it's just very basic. There's just two sides. There's no washers or anything, which I think is pretty common with automatic knives. But love the action on this thing. Snappy little guy. Great little knife. Really easy to take apart in maintenance too for an automatic. I thought it was going to be a pain in the arse, but it wasn't bad at all. Cool little knife. Only thing I don't like about it is this pocket clip. Wish it was like a little, I wish they'd done just a little bow there for a deep carry, because it's such a short knife. There's so much of it sticking out of your pocket. It just feels like, especially when it's in your side pockets, it can feel a little unsafe, like it's going to fall out. I do like carrying this thing in my coin pocket, though. It's a great little box opener. Great little drop point blade, and it's very, very sharp. I've had this thing for years, and I've never sharpened it, and it's still razor sharp. So, there you go. Cool little knife. And last but not least, this guy right here. I just bought this knife. I was gonna review it, and I didn't know what to think of it. It was kind of a boring looking knife, but I thought it would look like kind of a smaller version of the 940. But I instantly fell in love with this thing. It is such a cool knife. Great action on it. When you first get it, it's a little tight, but it loosens up, and it's just great. Great action. Really cool blade. It's M390. This one's S30V. I don't know if I told you that, but this one's M390. Once again, uses the axis lock, fully ambidextrous. The one bummer about this thing is this pocket clip, man. It is really stiff, and you have to really push it down over the top of your pocket because of, see this big kind of bow in it. I don't know if I could like flatten that out and it would improve the use of this thing, but either way, because of the screws not being recessed, you have to really push it down over your pocket to get it in there. Besides that, though, great knife, great action on this thing, and I think they did fine on the heat treatment of this. It's a great blade shape, really simple knife, and it fits really well in the hand. Good 4-finger grip on it, and it's just a really cool knife. Full stainless steel liners on this thing. Really well put together knife. Really solid, sturdy knife. So. Cool. Those are my Benchmades, guys. Let me know what you think of my Benchmades. Please, once again, don't leave any comments about guns or anything. I'm not. This isn't a forum to discuss politics. Let's just keep it to knives, and let me know what your opinion on Benchmade is, and non-political, and what you think of those knives. Next up on the list. Oh man. Love this company. This is an American story, man. An American story of success. This is Spyderco. Spyderco is owned by a gentleman named Saul Glasser. He's actually handing the company off to his son, Eric Glasser. They've been around, I think, since the 70s. They used to make knife sharpeners, and they sort of moved into the knife world. He kind of got... They're sort of known for the Spidey hole here on their knives. They're sort of in every knife that they make. I do own a lot of Spyderco, but these are the only two that I own that are made here in America. And they're made in America. I love this so much, guys. Check this out. Because they're made in Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. Not USA, Mars, USA, Earth. Love it. So there you go. This is the Para 3. This is a line that they have of paramilitary knives. They're all kind of similar, but just different sizes. So the first one they had was the paramilitary. Is a bigger knife, like the size of an Endura. Big knife, big long knife. And then they came out with the paramilitary 2, the PM2, and then they released the PM3, which is this guy right here. This is the S110V version. Great knife. Really like using it. It's just got great action. It uses the compression lock here, which is a really good lock. They're starting to use it on a lot of their knives, and it's just a really good knife, good lock. Allows you for one-handed use. Even if you're a lefty, you can still do it. It's a lot better experience if you're a righty, but if you're a lefty, you can pinch your fingers on the clip here and actuate the lock that way. So this is the Para 3, sorry, with the S110V blade. I don't really like the scales on it though. I wish they had black scales. Not really digging the purpley blue scales, but who knows, maybe I can get some new ones one day. This is actually a custom clip. This is a Casey Lynch deep carry clip. Another great American company, man. This guy is awesome. I bought one of these clips. It was just didn't fit the knife correctly. I hit him up on Instagram. He said, "Hey man, send it back. I'll make you a new one." Sure enough, within a couple of weeks, he sent me another one, and it was perfect. Great customer service, no questions asked, and he does great work. If you ever have a chance to work or get a Casey Lynch clip, I highly recommend them. This is the Para 3 lightweight. So this is a very recent release from Spyderco. It's basically the exact same thing as the Para 3, although they use the FRN scales. They kind of dialed down the liners in it too. There is no liners in this thing, so it's just a very basic version of the Para 3. And they use this it's a Carpenter steel. It's the CTS BD1N. And you know what? It's sort of a budget steel, but it's actually I think it's a really good budget steel. I've had great experiences with it. Very easy to sharpen, and it takes a razor's edge to it. So this is the lightweight version. It's an ounce lighter than the Para 3s. Para 3s, like all Spydercos, they come in so many different flavors. You've got just any SV you can think of. Think of a number in between there. They make a model LMAX. I don't know if they make an M390, but they make so many different flavors and versions. There's a blade steel in there to suit everybody's needs. And this CTS BD1 with the lightweight is just great. It's 2.5 ounces for a huge bloody knife. You still get that deep finger choil with that nice thumb ramp there. It's just great to use. Great action still on this thing. And this one runs about $90. So can't beat that. Great American company. Like I said, I own a ton of Spydercos, man. But these are the only two Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth ones that I own. So there you go. There are my Spydercos. Now, I have a couple ZTs here that I'd like to show you. ZT is sort of the expensive version of of Kershaw. They're both under the parent company Kai. So I guess I was listening to Ken Onion. I had no idea about this, but I was listening to a Ken Onion interview. Ken Onion is a very famous knife designer. Has designed many knives for Kershaw, and I guess he actually started ZT with Kershaw. So I guess he was watching after 9/11. He was looking at the he's watching something about the military, and he's looking at the knives these guys took into battle, and they were taking these sort of 420 HC surgical steel knives into that was standard for them into battle, and he thought, hey, we can do better than that. And I think that's how they started designing ZT knives. ZT is sort of a high-end made in America version of Kershaw. Most of the ZTs has a Kershaw counterpart that's like $30. Kershaw's are more expensive. Obviously, they're made here in the United States, and they are built like brick shit houses. I mean, these things are tanks. I'm going to tell you, if the zombie apocalypse happened tomorrow, which it may not, I don't know. This is the knife I would take with me. This guy right here. It is just a monster. This is the 0562. It's a Rick Hinderer design. It's got this really cool grind on it, this really high, flat grind. Very sharp, and it is built like a tank. I mean, they zero tolerance. I don't know if it's called zero tolerance because the people that make them don't tolerate much, or the knives don't have much tolerance in them. But either way, they don't. I mean, they don't move at all once they're open. It's like a fixed blade, and they're just built like tanks. Overbuilt in the USA is their motto, their slogan. And they live by that, man. I mean, there's 2 overstops on this thing, over travels for the lock bar, and look at this action. It's sort of a big clunky flipper tab on this thing, but I mean, this S35 VN blade is just like I said. If I had one knife to take to war with me or into the zombie apocalypse, it's this guy right here. I mean, it's a tank. It does weigh about 5.5 ounces though, so it is a big bloody knife. But it's got a reversible pocket clip, so it's lefty friendly. G10 scales. You can get this thing in a couple different flavors too. I think they have some carbon fiber scales that is a lot lighter weight than this one, but still, if you need a tank knife that's never going to let you down, and maybe whack some zombies with it, this is the guy to use right here. ZT0562. Now this guy right here is a very popular design by Sinkovich. He has a couple different versions of ZT knives. There's and the two that I've owned, this one right here, this is the 0450, and he has the 0452, which is the bigger version of this big bloody knife. Then he has the 0460 and the 0462. He has a couple others that he's designed, but those are the only ones that I've owned. I've owned this and the 0460. Now, for some reason, there's the 0450, 0452, 0460, 0462. The only one of those that's not ambidextrous is the 0460. Which I love. I love that crazy, like, Persian design to the blade. Unfortunately, it was right-hand carry only, and the shape of it didn't allow me to carry it in my left pocket. But, I mean, just the action on these things is amazing. This thing is lightweight. I think it weighs 2.5 ounces. It's just it's a big, huge knife. Big bloody knife with it doesn't weigh much, disappears in your pocket. It's a 3.5-inch blade, 7.5-inch total knife. It's just a chunk of a knife, and it just doesn't weigh. You feel it in your hand. It weighs nothing. Beautiful design, great centering on the blade, and it's a gorgeous knife. I love this thing. I carry it a lot, and it gets a lot of use. I've got the MPX. Or the MXG deep carry clip on this thing. Once again, not recessed screws, though, kind of a pain in the ass, but it's nice. Carries deep. So, cool knives. ZT, man. They're just overbuilt in the USA. Tanks of knives. And without getting too far into it, they're fantastic. So, next up on the list. Now, these guys, you don't really see a lot of. Don't see a lot of them. They are very expensive knives. Now, this is the only. I shouldn't have said that. They're not. Look, they're not cheap. I should say that. Both of these were gifts from my dad. My dad's a huge William Henry guy. This one right here is the only right-hand carry only knife that I own now, besides this guy right here, besides the Impel. But this knife right here, I've carried a lot, man. I've beat the crap out of this thing. I have this thing for 7 or 8 years now, and it's gotten a lot of love. The reason it's so nice, check this thing out. I mean, it's a good size knife, full four finger grip on it. It's got a nice finger chaw right here, and look at it, 1.2 ounces. I mean, that's nothing. It's so lightweight. M390 blade, aircraft aluminum handle with these sort of carbon fiber inlets. You can get them with like these little wooden inlets. Really pretty knives, but they are users too. No, there's no, there's no wobble in this knife at all. Just great tolerances on it. Great American-made knives. Sort of pocket jewelry though. Great gentleman's folders. Now, my dad gave me this one this year for Christmas. He had this. This thing was made in 2008. So it's sort of an older knife. It's the only Damascus blade I own. I was able to flip this thing to a lefty. You can see, and that's the weird thing about this one. You can put the clip over here for lefty carry, but they didn't recess the screw hole on the other side, so you can't flip the finger stud, which sucks. But oh well. My dad gave me this, so it's gonna be kept. Now this guy right here is straight pocket jewelry, but it is a beautiful knife. I carry this thing with me if I'm going out to a fancy restaurant, or if I'm going somewhere where I need a nice fancy knife. This is the one I carry. Beautiful knife, man. Really pretty. This is titanium handles. Titanium bolsters with this really nice CF on it. It's got a great clip, really soft clip. I like this soft clip on this because it allows you to put it in, pants pockets without it tearing them up. So if you have a nice pair of slacks, it's not going to tear up the pocket. It's got some sapphires inlaid in it. This is probably the most expensive knife I own. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous knife. Really pretty. I love the work these guys do. William Henry. I don't know that they don't have names for their knives. They're all model numbers. So you can see that one right there, the E6-3. And this one is the 7GM1139. So there you go, William Henry, guys. These are just great little gentleman's folders. If you work in an office environment, they're very they're very quiet knives. They're not going to draw a lot of attention, but they're beautiful, and they're meant to be used too. They got this really nice hollow grind on them, and they're, quality materials. So the only thing that bummed me out about them is they use bloody nylon washers in both of these things. I was like, really, guys? You're gonna charge $250 or $650 for a knife, and you're gonna use nylon washers in them? Oh well. Besides that, they're very pretty knives. Okay, last but not least, man. Now, it took me a while to get on board with the Chris Reeves knife. I saw him and I was like, really? Like, I just didn't get it. And then I got one. I got a great deal on this guy, and I went, all right. And I see why people love these knives and why they're so expensive. They're just beautifully made knives. Really well done, really well designed. Chris Reeves is this crazy South African, and he doesn't like any tolerances in his knives. Everything has got to be spot on before he sends them out. And like even down to the thumb stud hole. I mean, everything is just really tight tolerances. So this is the Inkosi. So the Inkosi is sort of an upgraded version of the Sebenza. The biggest difference between this and the Sebenza really is it's got a dual thumb stud. This is obviously the lefty version. So if you're a right-handed person, just watch this in a mirror, and you'll get the idea. But the biggest differences between this and the Sebenza. So this is the Inkosi with the Insigno blade. This is their sort of sheep's foot blade. They have a drop point, and I think they have one other style of blade that you can get. But this is the Insigno blade. I really dig the blade shape. So they basically what they did is the pocket clip used to be right over the lock bar, which meant it would press against the lock bar when you would go to open it, made it more difficult to open. And they really upgraded the hardware on this thing. Now I have a Sebenza. It's a small Sebenza. It's in the shop. It's got the drop point blade. It's in the. I sent it back to them to get a spa treatment done on it. But they're really beautifully designed knives. You can see. I don't know if you can see how deep that Allen bit goes, but they actually send you all the Allen keys you need for them. But that's a good, I don't know, 1/4 inch deep. Maybe 1/8 of an inch deep. You can get a lot of the Allen key in there, which is going to help with stripping. So, you can just see how beefy the hardware is on this thing. Like if you can compare it to these pocket jewelry, there's no comparison, really. Look at that. That's the one thing that I don't like about these William Henrys. I forgot to mention this hardware on them is soft. But, these, look. There's not enough you can say about Chris Reeve knives. They do cost a bit, but they're really beautifully designed and really well built. One thing that I was absolutely blown away by on this Insigno, on this Inkosi, check out the phosphor bronze washer on this thing. So it's got these little pockets inside of it you can see in there, and you actually fill it with. They send you this grease. I'm pretty sure it's just white lithium grease. But you actually just fill those pockets with the grease, and it just, God, it's smooth. Look how big those washers are. They're just huge washers, and they're really, really cool design on them. So this is the Inkosi. I want to do an in-depth review on this thing. Just wanted to give you a look, give you a show of it, give you a look at it. But yeah, love the lanyard. I'm not a big lanyard guy, but I kept the lanyard on this one because it's just really cool. They do the braiding on it. Good pocket clip. It's not the most spectacular pocket clip in the world, but it's very quiet. Very simple. Knives meant to be used too, guys. The S30V on this, I don't know if I think Chris Reeve helped Crucibles with the, helped to design the S30V steel. And it's the heat treatment. It's a really hard steel. I'd put this up with any M390. It is. The heat treatment they do on this is just second to none. It's just, they're really hard, really good edge retention. I've used the what out of this thing, and it's still as sharp as the day I got it. So cool, man. There you go. Those are my American-made knives. And just like America, I've got some a lot of diversity with my knives, and I love them all. And just like we should with us fellow Americans. We all have our differences out there. We all, think in different ways, but we should celebrate those differences instead of hating each other for them. So, Hope you like my knives, guys. Hope you like my little collection of American-made knives anyway. And, you know, if you got any comments for me, please let me know. If you'd like to know more about any of these knives, let me know. If you want me to do a review on any of them, please let me know and I'll do it. Just want to thank you guys for watching and thank all the people that watch my videos, and hope you enjoyed this one, and hope you watch the next one. Please like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. I'll put my Insta right here. Follow me on Instagram. I'm always giving away knives. I'm going to be giving away this guy next week, I promise. So stay tuned for the next video, and thanks again.